Welcome back to Horns High Studios for another episode of 666 Seconds of Metal. I got Shane here from Winnipeg, Manitoba. What's going on, Shane?
What's up, Pete? How you doing?
Doing good, man. And everybody knows these are less than 666 seconds or 11 minutes and 6 seconds. So we got a lot to talk about tonight, Shane, because we're getting nasty. A U.S. band that definitely vicious, and we're talking some Skeletal Remains, man. Definitely love these guys and love this new album and definitely want to talk about it for sure, man. This is just some brutal, old school death metal. I mean, nothing fancy about it. It's just nasty. It's just nasty
stuff. It fucking gets the job done, man.
It does, man. These guys are great. So, you know, I've been listening to these guys for a few years now, and it's awesome to see the progression they've made album after album after album. I mean, very impressive, just rise. These guys are from Whittier, California, which is not too far from LA. They formed in 2011 as Anthropophagy, but changed it after the first demo, which is definitely a good call because I can't
definitely a good call. Definitely
trying to tell somebody what your band's name is, you know, and like, what is that? What did you say?
For California metal, you know, they sure sound like old school 90s Florida death metal scene.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Definitely. But there was another Connecticut death thrash band that was using Skeletal Remains, but they were over with in 2000. So this is before these guys even started. So the current lineup is Chris Monroe, who handles both guitar and vocals, total badass. Mike De La O on guitars, also killer. And then Pierce Williams on drums, just putting on a clinic throughout this whole thing. And Brian Rush just throwing down on bass. So, I mean, all these guys are just bringing it. Incredible musicianship, just really, really good.
They do sound very tight, man, and they do work well together.
Yeah, they really do. They really do. Now, Chris and Mike are original members, but Mike had left the band for several years and came back in 2020, and I got the chance to talk to both of them. It was a lot of fun. Right before, like a few days before that Morbid Angel tour they did, and that's ironically, I was going to go see them. It was about a 2-hour drive for me. I was going to go with my son. And that was the night that the storm hit and the ceiling came down and killed that guy that was there with his son. So that was really weird.
Very crazy.
Hit me kind of weird, you know?
I guess so. That's just a weird coincidence there. You were going to go with your son. And
right. And here's this guy not going home. You know what I mean? So it was messed up. But, you know, I guess I wasn't meant to be there. But, you know, it's very, very tragic. And, you know, these guys get obviously compared to Morbid Angel, but not in a negative way. I mean, there's nothing wrong with, you know, emulating a band that was very influential on your sound, but then making it your own. And these guys, I think, pull that off. They pull it off.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. They do it their way, man. And, you know, I'd even say, like, they're kind of a cross between, like, a Cannibal Corpse and a Pestilence, maybe, because it does have a little bit of that tech death sound to it. It's a little bit proggy, you know, at times. So that's the best I could come up with was maybe a Pestilence cross, but...
That's an interesting comparison. I'm going to talk about it here in a moment about the guitar soloing. Definitely not like traditional old school death metal with the soloing. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, whatever the case, it's vicious as hell.
It is. It is. Now, these guys have 5 albums so far. They released their debut, Beyond the Flesh, in 2012, followed it up in 2015 with Condemned to Misery. Then they released Devouring Mortality, which is just friggin' amazing. In 2018, I mean, that is just some of the most wicked artwork, very classic, you know, a lot of the death metal albums, but this one just really is cool to me. And I really, really dig that album. It's a fan favorite, I know. And then Entombment of Chaos came out in 2020, also great. I still like Devouring just a little bit more, but it's not that Entombment was bad. It's just I really love Devouring Mortality. And then they just drop a fucking bomb on everybody with this new one, Fragments of the Ageless, just a couple weeks ago. I mean, just unbelievable. The same day Judas Priest and Exhorter came out, Shane. That was quite the Friday.
It was a busy day,
Dude, I didn't know what to listen to first. Now, these guys have done a shitload of touring. They're still, in the pile in the van and pull the trailer mode. And that reminds me of the old Low 12 days, because that's how we did it. These guys are super. They come across, at least, as super like DIY. They do a lot of their own promotion. Now they're signed to Century Media, so I'm sure they're handling a lot of that. But that's great. I mean, I'm glad for them. But they give me that feel. These guys got more merch that is humanly possible to sell. I've never seen a merch page like this. You got to go check this out. It's ridiculous. They've got so many different things you can buy. It's awesome. And that's how a band survives today, touring like crazy and selling merch. That's how you do it.
They got panties. I've seen some of the death metal bands have panties. Not that I want any, but whatever,
Everything, dude. Yeah. If it can be printed on somehow, they've got it. I'm telling you, go check it out. Now, this Fragments of the Ageless album, I mean, as I mentioned, their 5th full length just came out. Probably going to be in my top 10. It's early to say that, but this is just so good. But the one thing I noticed that was the biggest progression, in my opinion, was Chris's vocals. Little deeper. Still, though, has that style that's his, but just deepened it up just a little bit. I love it. I think it sounds awesome. The guitar soloing is straight up ridiculous, man. These guys, Chris is a hell of a guitar player, and he's singing. He's trading off leads with Mike, and just unfucking believable. And when I interviewed them, they were talking about being fans of King Diamond and the Andy LaRocque stuff. And I hear that when I listen to these solos. Just wicked. I mean, really, really stand out.
What I liked about the solos is the whammy bar trilling or
yes,
the fluttering.
Yes, that's very Andy LaRocque with that. I really dig it too. The drumming is unbelievably good. The bass player, like I said, all these guys are tremendous, man. And the lefty bassist, which you don't see very often either, which is cool. The album artwork is great on this one too. I mean, it looks like some Lovecraftian type of beast coming up out of, I don't even know if that's a pod or what that is, but it just looks badass. And you got this guy like summoning whatever it is. It reminds me of a Lovecraft kind of thing going on there. What do you think about that, Shane? Does it give that Lovecraft vibe?
It's a very cool cover. I like the green and the yellow colors there. It really makes it pop. Almost looks toxic or something.
Right. Yeah, it's really, really cool. I just love all their album artwork. This one just doesn't disappoint. But yeah, I mean, go check out this album, Fragments of the Ageless. 10 songs. They all crush. I got to say, I really love that To Conquer the Devout, probably right at this moment. That every time I listen to it, I like a different one more. But that one, they got a video for it too, which is badass. And they've got videos for that one plus 2 others. So go on YouTube. If I think of it, I'll link to it.
Forever in Suffer. Forever in Sufferance is my favorite. The bass
badass.
is a bit more prominent in that one, and it's a little slower, has more of the double time tempo, a bit thrashier actually.
Interesting. I'll have to listen to it. I mean, I've been listening to it, but usually I'm doing stuff when I'm listening to it, like cooking or whatever. So nothing like making, my eggs on the griddle and listening to some fucking Skeletal Remains. Cranked. I mean, just fucking cranked. My wife loves it. But saying that, Not true. She does not like it, but that's what makes it fun. But yeah, these guys are killer, man. I mean, go check them out. They're on tour. Go see them. I wish I could see them. I'm glad I wasn't at that show, though. Even if I didn't get hit with that roof, I mean, that would just be horrifying to see that. So I hope, that guy's family's, doing all right. I know they had a GoFundMe for him. So, all right, well, there you go. Give you something to sink your teeth into. And you guys will see you next time for 666 Seconds of Metal.
Horns fucking high.